welcome to Arcade Spotlight. We're glad you could join us from the vast regions of space to follow us on this epic journey through arcade history. In today's episode, we're looking at an at-the-time soon-to-be Namco classic making its way to American arcades, but instead of Bally Midway doing the distribution, they instead went to Atari.
It's one of the iconic games from the golden age of arcades. Even people that weren't in the era would know Dig Dug.
Dig Dug was released in April of 1982 by Atari. It was developed by Namco as a different kind of maze game. It was made for 1 to 2 players, and it comes in an upright European cabaret and cocktail cabinet. So what history could you tell me off the top of your head about Dig Dug?
Well, he's digging around underground with a bicycle pump for some reason, and there's dragons. There was a lot of cocaine in the 80s.
Probably the first time I saw that game, so what arcade was I in? There's a Dairy Queen that is still there. It was behind that Dairy Queen, small arcade. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of Dig Dugs out there that are in mint condition that are from the time frame, because unfortunately a lot of them were converted.
I was just trying to remember, I think it was either at Rosie's Ice Cream Shop in Arcadia or it was at Showbiz Pizza. But one of the two, I remember when this one popped on the market and it was something different. Made by Atari, that it came out around the same time as Centipede and all those other fun games. And I remember running around with the little white guy squashing Figar and the tomato guy. I forgot what he was.
Usually Namco went to Bally Midway to distribute their arcade games in the States, but after they made a couple unauthorized games too many, being overcome with fever at the time, Namco in turn took their business to Atari, who were more than happy to release their future hit games.
I did just look a little bit into it, and I found out that the guy's name is Taizo Hori, and he's got quite a backstory, but I don't know a ton of the history about it. So you've got a few layers of dirt, and you're digging through it to try to get to the Figars and the Pukas, which are the little enemies that you're going after.
The enemies attack you from all angles, and you have to kill them with a pump.
You didn't have to break through the wall all the way. You could hit your little air pumper guy and explode him.
If you can get them to follow you, like Pac-Man, strategically you can drop a boulder, which are the boulders that are down there on top of them as well.
You get more points for dropping rocks than you do pumping, and you get better points the further down they are in the dirt.
I remember there was the vegetables that you could get every level.
If you drop 2 rocks, you get a little bonus point. If you die, you don't get that bonus point after that. If you leave it down to 1, he does try to escape to the top and run away, so you kind of got to chase him.
And each time you finished a level, the flower grew. And then after a certain number of levels, it would change color on the screens to the different soils.
My strategy that I play for is to try and drop 2 rocks and then pick up the bonus fruit for bonus points. There are also different strategies. If you attack Figar, the dragon, on the same horizontal level as him, you will get more points than if you attack him from above or below because you're in his fire line. So they reward you for being more aggressive that way.
So I try to farm points as much as I can. Usually the first 2 or 3 levels, I'll run around, drop a couple rocks just to get that bonus, and then I'll try to get as many as the enemies as I can under 1 rock, because that scores the most points.
Try to make it to level 8, because once you got to that point, they would double up in the holes from time to time. And that would be where it'd get a little bit harder.
I view Dig Dug a lot like I play pinball in that I don't like to get too involved in the game, from a strategic perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just like playing. For me, it's a little bit more of an escape than actually getting into the nuts and bolts of it.
One of the more interesting stories about the development of Dig Dug was that composer Yuriko Kino was having issues creating a realistic stepping sound for when the title character moved around, so she instead made a short and memorable melody when Dig Dug traverses the underground.
The sounds were really influential. They're very, very recognizable. And then there was another game called Mr. Do that is almost exactly like it, but a few little different actions to it.
Dig Dug was an unequivocal hit in the arcades wherever it sprung up, which led to Atari creating home ports for their systems with a very cheesy though catchy ad campaign. It would get ported to more consoles and computers over the years, and you're more than likely to find it in a Namco compilation every now and then. It also got a few sequels here and there, influenced other games of the era, and go on to influence another Namco staple, Mr. Driller. Characters can be found in some unrelated games, and you might be surprised where Dig Dug has popped up in popular culture.
It's a fun one. It's one that, again, I don't think I've ever seen it since a game that you would explode monsters with air. Again, I'm not an expert. I have not gotten to like level 32 or anything like that, so I could not tell you what level would be like the get here and it's the kill switch. But all in all, it is an enjoyable game.
I had experience with playing Mr. Do on the ColecoVision, and I was aware that that was a clone or knockoff of Dig Dug. It's a fun game, like most others. You go in and you take out the enemies one by one, just rack up the points.
It's a good escape. If you ever want to just let go for a few minutes, if you're really, really good, then a few minutes. Dig Dug is that fun family member in the arcade family that never got the due respect that it deserved, in my opinion. So if you've got a Dig Dug and you've got a nice one, take care of it. There's not a ton of, in my opinion, there's not a ton of that title out there.
About a year ago, I started coming to Starfighters quite often, and my friend Jacob was pretty good at that game, so we started playing it, and I found out it's a lot more fun with a friend, and you really get your heart racing. It's definitely one of my favorite cabinet games. It's super fun. You get extra lives and stuff, so you really got a reason to keep going and get the higher points. And like I said before, if you're playing with friends, it's a ton of fun. It'll probably get a little loud, and
While not always lauded with other Namco greats like Pac-Man or Galaga, Dig Dug was still widely successful, and it certainly has an appeal. It's a fun game everyone should try to at least achieve that congratulatory screen, or to just feel the satisfaction of pumping those monsters out of the dirt. This has been Arcade Spotlight. I'm Jacob Ross, and we'll see you soon. Want to play the games featured on the show? Come check us out. We're located at 4840 East Jasmine Street, number 102, Mesa, Arizona, 85205, near Falcon Field and the Monastery. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to support the channel by giving us a like, comment, sharing the video around, and hitting that subscribe button. It really helps us out. You can also find us on our Facebook and our personal website. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing you. And we'll just...
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh.
This is how we bribe Dave to do his interviews. He comes in and plays the newest pinball machine.
Oh, farts!
that the sounds were very influential. What?
It just came in from behind. We have Rat Dog for a special interview. Rat Dog, what do you think about Dig Dug?
I think it's an awesome game. I love playing it. It's one of my favorites, especially on the Atari system. I had one of those when I was a puppy.
Just a puppy.
I was a puppy once.